From the Competent Communicator Manual, and it's about organising your speech. So what Linda is looking for is a strong opening and conclusion, and an outline that can be followed and understood, and clear message with supporting materials and appropriate transitions between each part. So I'd like to welcome Linda Nugent with Full Steam Ahead or Forgotten Heroes, and again, Full Steam Ahead or Forgotten Heroes, Linda Nugent. Thank you.
The Titanic was travelling from England to New York, carrying some of the wealthiest people in the world, and over 1,000 of immigrants from Great Britain and Ireland, when it struck an iceberg at 11:40 p.m. on the 14th of April 1912. It sank at 2:20 a.m. on April 15th, with the loss of more than 1,500 of the 2,208 passengers and crew. I don't know anybody who perished on the Titanic, but when I was reminded of the tragedy, I could not help but feel a real empathy for the people who lost their lives. And I wondered, what is it about the Titanic that reaches us today across generations? Well, it is a story of genius and industry, achievement and pride, romance and tragedy, hope and despair, courage and cowardice, responsibility and negligence, and loss and redemption. The Titanic has been immortalized in millions of books and movies. It is the stuff of myth and legend, and it also actually happened. 2012 marks the centenary of the Titanic tragedy, and in recent weeks we have seen the re-release of the Titanic movie in 3D. And Belfast opens up a multi-million-pound Titanic Centre, and memorial services were held aboard the Balmoral cruise ship, which took 1,309 history buffs and descendants of Titanic's victims on the route of the doomed voyage. When reading about recent tributes to the Titanic, I wondered why we can't simply commemorate historic events with dignity. Instead, the hype has gone into overdrive. Many people today associate the loss of life and suffering of the people on board with how sad they felt when Leonardo DiCaprio slipped in a massive out of Kate Winslet's grasp and vanished beneath the waves, instead of mourning the loss of over 1,000 people. And the new Belfast Centre was recently chided by a Scottish historian for using the Titanic as a ghoulish tourist attraction. The entrance ticket to the centre is a replica of a passenger ticket and bears the name of a passenger and the story of that passenger. A virtual captain then takes you on a tour of first-class cabins and steerage cabins. The Balmoral cruise ship also sought to recreate the experience on board the Titanic minus the disaster. The passengers dressed in period costumes and attended formal dinner and ball, recreating the last meal served aboard the ship. 2 memorial services were held, one which marked when the ship hit the iceberg, and the second when it broke in two. A minister led a prayer service to bring hope and closure to the passengers on board. I'm not sure how to view the new Belfast Centre or the plight of the Balmoral crew, whether they should be judged for finding a way of making money out of a past generation's tragedy, or congratulated for contributing to the memory of Titanic lost souls. So I ask, how should the lost souls of the Titanic be commemorated? Well, an MSP known as Joan McAlpine recently suggested that people should instead celebrate ships that didn't succumb to their first clash with the elements. Some may feel that Joan McAlpine should be ashamed of her disrespectful remarks, and that recent events have marked both the triumph of the ship itself and the tragedy of the maiden voyage. Perhaps that is the case, and we are being reminded of forgotten heroes like Mary Agatha Glynn, aged 19, who rescued herself and many other passengers by rowing them to safety. and Melvina Dean, the last surviving passenger who died in 2009, was just 17 weeks old in 1912 and survived because a quick-thinking crew member thought to put babies into mail bags to keep them warm and safe when transferring them onto lifeboats. So the commemoration of the Titanic has highlighted the limitations of technology and the idea of human infallibility. For me, it has raised the question of whether there is a best way to remember a tragedy like this. In whatever sense you choose to commemorate the Titanic, the stories of those who perished and survived must be commemorated with respect and dignity. It is unfortunate that in our postmodern society, nothing is really itself, and the memory of Titanic has been signified within its own fictional representation. Although maybe this is not a terrible thing after all, perhaps the memory of the Titanic can be seen as a representation of the challenge we all face in life, which is between staying afloat or sinking. Thank you.